Hi, I am Stephen J. Cochran, author and game designer. For the last 5 years, I've been working on my latest creation, Morticians, a tabletop role-playing game. On Living with Reaper, we'll be sharing insight into storytelling, the game's design, and lore. So sit back in that recovered lounge chair and crack open a ration. This is Living with Reaper. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Living with the Reaper. I'm your Reaper, Stephen J. Cochran, co-creator of Morticians, tabletop RPG. Happy spring break for those of you off from school. Springtime's one of my favorite times of year. I love spring cleaning. I love being in my yard. I like that the sun comes out and I am warmer. Not so much locally. It's been raining the last couple of days, preventing me from working in the yard and tending to my garden. Today I'd like to talk to you about, quick shifting gears, I thought maybe we could work on building a cultist hideout that we were using in our campaign. You know, we have the house and then there's a passageway in the back. We can build a little tunnel and go to a location where the cultists gather and worship their evil deity, or even the undead, or whatever fiction they've created for themselves. But I also wanted to cover mods today and talk about potentially how you use them in-game, from a funeral director's perspective, how to give them to your players and encourage the usage of them, and from a player standpoint, what modding your character's equipment means for you. So, but first, let's go over here and let's do the thing with the thing and the thing. This thing. Hey, YouTube. Ladies of the Hoard, the season finale was uploaded just the other day. It is the last episode for this season. In it, it's a very touching bookend where the ladies have a funeral for the loss of their dear friend Cassandra. Afterwards, we had a good time. We did a little rap party where Kay, who plays Rev, brought over a bunch of official government MREs that she purchased at the X. And we went through the process of making the different foods and trying them out, seeing what are the troops eat. I have to say that when I was younger, I did try K rations at a scouting event, and they have come a long way in the 30 or so years since I had that experience. All in all, the food was really, really good. Production of meals ready to eat has really, stepped it up. I mean, I was impressed. I don't think there was anything I was out and out like, this is horrible. But we only had 5, and the numbering on the MREs did go up to 30. So for you veterans out there or those out in the field, leave a comment on the MREs you absolutely cannot stand and the ones that you absolutely love. So that was a lot of fun. If you hadn't had a chance, swing by the YouTube and check out Ladies of the Hoard. It is an all-female cast of adventurers dealing in the zombie apocalypse and trying to survive the situations that are in, run by the magnificent, amazing funeral director, Jax Murray Gaming. You could always check her out on Twitch at Jax Murray Gaming. She also does this wonderful show on YouTube called Morbidly Macabre. And also one of the players for Ladies of the Hoard is Jen of the dragonshoardstore.com, our local game shop. They're online now. If you haven't had a chance, swing by their website. It's fantastic. And if this is the first time you seeing me, this is the first experience you're going, hey, what's this Morticians stuff? Morticians is a tabletop role-playing game that takes place 7 years after the zombie apocalypse. It takes place in a little fictional place called Sanctuary Valley, where you, as Morticians, go around dispatching the zombie horde that lingers, trying to help settlements reestablish themselves, exploring forgotten technologies. And it's a hell of a good time. You can always check us out at morticiansrpg.com. We have streaming events every other Thursday. I do a updated recorded session of the Zombie Trail where I am the funeral director with 4 players. Again, at Jax Murray Gaming is joining us with that. Brady with the Dragon's Hoard. Pat and Bill are with me, and we play the Morticians RPG, where they are members of the Morticians organization, and they are heading down an abandoned highway looking for uncharted settlements to reconnect with lost humanity and the experience they have with that. Those episodes post weekly, every Wednesday at midnight. You can expect a new episode of The Zombie Trail, again, on our YouTube channel. And yeah, so that's what I got for the news for today. Let's go ahead and do a little one of these thingies and one of these thingies. And here we go again. Boom. And after watching all that, if you're interested in checking out the game right now, our digital version of our encounter box, Crossroads, the Introductory Undertaking, the Introductory Undertaking is live on Drivethru-RPG. You can pick up the Funeral Director's Guide, which is the campaign for the encounter box, a starting rulebook for your players. There are 6 character portfolios available, along with a pay what you want maps and tokens that I utilize in Roll20. They are not on the Roll20 marketplace. The only place to get them is to download them at Drivethru-RPG. But they upload easily enough. Each one is a small enough package. And the 6 character portfolios that it comes with are pre-gens of 6 of the 12 archetypes within the core rulebook. It's a great way to get started. If you're new to tabletop role-playing games, it's a great way to introduce you and friends who are interested in playing tabletop role-playing games. And it is a great introduction into the Morticians universe. You play Morticians as you are called out to investigate a trading post that has hit radio silence, and you're out there trying to figure out why this outpost went silent. Always a lot of fun. You know, one of the things that me and my wife talk about always is constantly, we keep bringing up and reminding ourselves, is that, you know, you work on something and you have a passion for it and you love it and you want to share it with people. And what we're finding with Morticians, and it's been really, really kind of nice, is that people don't want to stop playing. I love tabletop role-playing games. I still play D&D every chance I get. I've played Mothership and Cyberpunk, and I'm trying to get a Star Trek Adventures game up and running. It's one of my favorite pastimes to do. But what I've discovered over the years as people play RPGs is they'll play it for 1 or 2 sessions and then they're not really interested in continuing to play, either because of the mechanics or the world. But what we're seeing over and over and over again, which is really exciting, is once a player has had the experience of playing Morticians, they don't want to stop. They keep coming back for more. And as one of the creators, that has just been one of the many blessings in this process that I have, is having that experience of bringing that joy of being able to play the game. So today I thought we could be building the cultist hide. Oh, but you know what? I wanted to talk to you about one of the mechanics in the game, mods. So in the Morticians world, because your Morticians are scavenging through the zombie apocalypse, they have the opportunity to find equipment that they can modify to use to boost their skills, their armor class, their initiative, their action points, and their health. Basically, every kind of mechanic that you interface in this world has the potential of finding a modification that you can use. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that with the future funeral directors and players. You know what? I wanted to show you something here. Right here I have, let's see if it pops up. This is Mama. Now, Mama is a prop. It's not sharp at all. It's actually made of stainless steel. And we kind of created Mama as a prop for local events when we were doing live play sessions and beta testing. And you probably, if you follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook and other social media accounts, you may have seen Mama in the wild, or pictures of it if you've been to one of our local game shop events. You even have the chance to hold Mama. But the reason why I bring Mama out today is I wanted to show, we've got Mama etched in here, and this is based off of the design that Justin Russell, the original core rulebook cover designer, had designed, and we had discussed the personalization of the Morticians cleaver. And the Morticians cleaver is just a big blade that the Mortician wields around to dispatch the undead, and how Barney Badass, as we call him on the cover of the core rulebook, etched Mama into it. And we put right here, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. You know what? Let me get rid of this Drivethru-RPG stuff here. A little bit of this and a whole lot of that. There we go. Now you guys can see it. That's better. So right here on the edge, you see this little starburst. And one of the myths was this little lore we had around Barney Badasses, that after killing he's an ex-soldier and fighting for his life after he dispatched his first zombie, he saw a shooting star, and so he puts shooting stars on everything. But the reason why I brought Mama out today is this here on the end. Now we've got these beads here that Barney has put on his cleaver. I don't know how well you guys can see this. I don't want to get too close and then become blurry the whole time. And then right here on the end is a skull stick shifter for a manual transmission. So the myth we put behind it is that every time Barney killed a zombie, he added a skull. Every time he got 10 kills, he added a silver bead. And every time he got 100 kills, he added a gold bead. So Barney's kill ratio is 347. This is how many zombies this has dispatched. And the bonus that Mama gives to the character for having these beads is it gives a buff to the action points. It -1 action point when using Mama as a melee weapon. Normally, the Mortician's cleaver costs 4 AP to wield. For some players, it's 3 AP, depending on abilities and attributes. But by adding this trinket, they have the ability to use less action points when attacking the zombies. And with the stick shifter, what we say is that it added balance to the cleaver, added more weight, so for the follow through, and that actually gives a +10 to Barney's melee skill when using, I'm going to set this down real quick, when using his Mortician's cleaver. So that's kind of like the idea with melee. I had a player just the other day, and next week when you watch, or actually it could be posted right now, when you watch, it is posted right now. I just thought about that. You watch the last episode of the Zombie Trails, Pat, playing the character of Doc, finds a used automobile and removes the oil filter from the bottom. And his intent is he wants to add the filter to his pistol to reduce noise. Now, in the Mortician's world, when you use a firearm, there's a percentage chance of calling more zombies into the area. So I think it's a 50-50 shot that if you're out in the wilds and you discharge a firearm, you have the opportunity to draw more zombies in. It's 1d4 zombies that are appropriate for your level and strength. So a silencer or a noise reducer for a firearm is beneficial. It reduces the percentage of chance by half. So instead of a 50% chance of more zombies showing up, you only have a 25% chance of more zombies showing up. And as you get better equipment and better knowledge of your area, you can decrease that even more. So, the player has incentive to want to acquire some kind of noise dampening device. With the oil filter, I didn't stop him for looking from it. I knew immediately he's like, I want to check the bottom of the car. Okay, well, the only reason why you go under a rusted out, unmovable, dead vehicle is to pull the oil filter. I knew what he wanted to do, and I wasn't, as a funeral director, you don't take those moments away from your players, especially if they're trying to be creative and they're really immersing themselves in the reality. However, at their low level, I didn't want to just hand him a noise reducing mod. And so how I played with it was, yeah, you totally can do that. But there's no thread on the threading on the end of that pistol, so there's no way to attach the oil filter to the 22 pistol that you plan on using. Now, this isn't a hard no. I also gave him guidance on what next steps he needs to take to make this happen. And that's kind of true with all mods. Giving your players the ability to modify their things comes with the caveat that they have to have the skill and the time to do it. So that's kind of what I want to touch bases on, is, as funeral directors, as you lead these games and campaigns, encourage your players to be creative with the environment. We have several mods are listed in the encounter box, plus several pages more of mods in the core rulebook. And we, as the games designers, cannot come up with every mod there is out there. I mean, players are creative. That's what makes them so wonderful. It makes them so wonderful to play with. So allow them their creativity, and then try to utilize the necessary skill set that they will need. And if they don't have those skills, if none of the players have the skills required for the modification, give them the opportunity to discover an NPC who will assist them to reach that final goal. Now, when it comes to mods, my rule of thumb is always they have to have a safe place to manufacture them. So there's no field mods. There's no, I'm out in the field and I found this and I'm gonna make it happen. You have to get to a location where you're safe enough to work. And so that's the give and take between the funeral directors and the players. But I've been chatting long enough. Why don't we hop on over to Arc and Forge here? Send this over here. I'll see if everything comes up. I am not seeing my cursor. Take a look here and see what we can do to make that happen. Or maybe there it is. I just had to click on the thing to do the thing to make the thing do the thing. All right. So we talked before about this cultist, and this particular game is taking place in the Detroit, Michigan area, but not downtown, maybe like Illinois, farther south, in the more rural areas where things have wildlife and growth nature has taken back its environment. It's one of the reoccurring themes throughout the Morticians universe, is that with man gone, nature pushes back with a vengeance, and commonly things are overgrown or taken. And 7 years, I know, doesn't seem like a long time, but you've got to realize that when it comes to plants, they're very aggressive when nothing's standing in their way. They want to grow, they want to live, and so they take things back all the time. So as always, let's go over here to our map building tool assets, and you know me, I always put down a good layer of dirt. Here, we'll pick this one here today. All right, we got some dirt going on here. How's it looking over here? You guys are looking good. All right, and so remember, TVs have an aspect ratio And if you're using Arkenforge or Roll20 to build your maps, and then are later going to put it on the TV for your players to put their minifigs on, or if you're going to, move it over to Roll20 so that you can play with your friends internationally and they're bringing their little tokens. A good rule of thumb is 12 squares by 23. And I do the 23 because I like to have, and I'm gonna go 13 by 23. And the reason why I give that one extra row and column is so that when we convert this over to a hexagonal map grid, we have the necessary slop that everything that we want on there is going to be on there. And so today, what I was kind of thinking with the map is kind of a hillside bluff, right? And I was thinking, I built a town the other day. It was just a small, quick town for my players to kind of interact in, and I wasn't really happy with it. So, but one of the things I found was a building. We got this dirt here. Let's go ahead. Add some grass. Add some grass. Put it up in the same space. And we're going to go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to noise it up. Over here to tile. Add some noise. There we go. Actually, excuse me. Every time the Reaper burps, take a drink. I want less grass. I like it kind of big like that. Because what I was thinking for this cultist hideout, because of this building that I saw, I want to put it kind of not deep into the mountains, but kind of a rocky, hilly side that has a path that you have to snake up to get up to. And so we're going to go ahead and start with the building. And I think we just put, I think it's just a hangar, believe it or not. I'm going to put it in a hangar here and see what we get. And Arkenforge is really great about having all this stuff. It takes some time sometimes to load up. They have a lot of really great pre-generated buildings that are layered that are really nice. Search complete. Did I misspell hangar? I don't know how my glasses on. Okay, let's see here. We're going to go building. Let's try that. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, Arkenforge has these really great pre-built what I want. Is it cement? They have these pre-built ones, and what's great is if you use the Arkenforge VTT with your players, it has they all have layers. What is this? Machine gun and plate. Do I not know how to spell cement? Answer. I guess I don't know how to play. We'll try concrete. That. There we go. We're getting somewhere. Stuff. There we go. Look at how many. And what I'm looking for. But, you know what? I'm just going to grab one of these. Grab one of these. And as you can see how it has the green border. What is this? A concrete building. And I'm going to go ahead, drop it right there. And what it's doing right now, it's loading all the assets that are pre-built into this module. Just not delete that. I want something big and intricate that is developed. These things are so small. Platform. A little bit better. That's nice. Let's see what else they got today. Not a platform. We could always build it ourselves if we really wanted to. The one thing I don't really care for with these buildings, though, I feel like they're always too small on the map. And that the space, because he knows today, because they're designed as each of these squares being 5 feet, and they're kind of locked into that. So if I go over to settings and I actually set up the grid hex the way the hex is supposed to be, that feels more like, so each one of these hexes is supposed to be 3 feet. So that feels more like a living space. But let's go ahead and zoom in so we can actually like discuss and look at the size of this. So this is, 10 feet. Really want it dark. There we go. So each one of these hexes is 3 feet, which means that this table here this table here is only like 4 feet wide, and if you look at it, it's got a strap on it. Actually, you know what? I think that's a box. Yeah, so here's an ammo box here, and like proportions are weird because here's a door. You're supposed to be able to walk through the door. Here's an ammo box that is almost 3 feet big. Now, most ammo boxes that I've handled, they're only about maybe a foot long, lengthwise, and only a couple of inches wide. So proportions always seem a little funny for these, but I love the aesthetic of how things look. And what's always great, and this is my favorite thing about Arken Forge, is if you're using this as a VTT and you have your players there, you can always just go up a floor, and you have the roof there on these pre-generated models. So when I transport these over to Roll20, I'll save the map a couple levels up so you can see the full image of what was created, and then I save a version of the map where everything's open up. So as the players actually get into the map, I switch over to that map so they can actually see what's inside and what they're planning on interacting with and everything. So that's loads of fun. I am looking to get a game going on Arken Forge. As far as VTT is concerned, Roll20 has such a great community. It's really hard to find people outside of Roll20 who want to play online. They've done such an amazing job of curating a community that it's easy to engage with and invite to play. So I tend to go there when I do online games. And I have been thinking about, instead of just live streaming myself talking to you, going on Roll20 and setting up a drop-in game that's every week with new players to drop in. So if you're interested, if you think that's good, go ahead and leave a comment. Swing over to our Discord. If you're not a member, reach out and we'll set you up. But I am looking to get a Roll20 game of Morticians up and running, and to have that experience with you guys. So we have this cement building up at the top. And what I want to do now is, we mentioned it's kind of like a rocky hill. So let's add some rocks. Go ahead and add some rocks. Oh, I guess you don't have to put rocks. You can just put rock. Recently I was asked, what do you do? How do I personally handle new players? Very small rock. You are also a very small rock. Go in and see what this is. One of the cool things that we can do is we'll just do this. We'll swing over here on this panel right here. You click randomize and placement. Click that, and then every time you drop a rock, it changes the size and the shape, so you can kind of just go around and drop these things all over the place randomly. I'm looking for something big. I was asked recently, though. There we go. Now that's a rock. How do I handle new players? And it depends on the player, to be perfectly honest. Sometimes I'm playing with players who are 100% new to role playing games, and that kind of requires a a gentler touch, where a little bit more over the shoulder, and hey bud, like, so this is how it works, and this is what you want to do, and being patient with them, and how, because they're learning how to do all this stuff. But to go one step further, there's table etiquette that a lot of people don't know they're supposed to have. I mean, really, I guess, group were playing, and one of the new players, who was new to tabletop role playing games, played stuff online, but was new to around the table gameplay, answered her phone and was talking on the phone in the middle of the game right at the table. And how do you deal with that? And the best thing to do is just stop the game. Stop the game and let them know, hey, look, this is a shared space. We're not going to stop you from taking the call, but if you could please take it somewhere else so that we can continue to play. I mean, that's the first step. And I was talking to a funeral director about it, and and they killed the player. They're like, yeah, I just killed him. I was done with them, so I killed them. And your table, your rules, but you know, these are all teachable. I have kids, and I have two wonderful kids, and I try to look for the teachable moments for the experiences they are going to have in life, instead of just saying no, or and so I felt like that was just a missed opportunity. Not really happy with these rocks. I just feel like there's a missed opportunity, blah 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 blah, to correct, or encourage proper table etiquette instead of dismissal, of the player. So how we interact, the sacred duty we have to guide the players through their stories. At the end of the day, that's what's supposed to be happening at the table. It's not my story. I mean, I wrote the novel, and the novel's coming out soon, but the gameplay is my player's story. That's their version of Morticians, and their experiences in Sanctuary Valley, and their discoveries of the world. I set up obstacles and objectives, but they choose the path. So it's just as much their sacred space as it is yours. You know what I never done here, and I'm interested in giving it a hoot real quick. Just I don't get to randomize. Okay, brush it on. We're gonna use a soft brush. We're gonna make sure that it's the terrain layer. We're gonna put let's talk about snow real fast. This is always fun. Let's talk about snow. So snow behaves in a very particular way. How it lays is straight down, blankets everything. There are snow drifts and that will blow snow sideways. I've had experiences in the Midwest where snow was blowing this way, and it whitewashes the highway people are on. But if it's just a soft layer, if it's just at the end of winter, the beginning of spring, like we said, that this there's still snow on the ground, but it was moving into a summer campaign. Where the sun is throughout the day, where the shadows lie for that sun, is actually where the snow is going to be. And snow melts accordingly. If the sun hits it, it melts. It's simple. You add heat to ice, it's going to melt. Well, I guess the proper way of saying is energy. So whenever I'm laying down snow, I know earlier in one of the previous maps, I just kind of threw it, excuse me, all over the place. But really what you want to do is you want to do directional, brush is too big, kind of directional, areas. And yeah, this I'm going to do it under the rocks. And it's almost like, it's almost like doing highlights on a minifigure or shadow on a face. You want it to all kind of be same place here. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You want to bring that snow. You see, I kind of tipped it in that towards the end there, and that's file right there. And what's really great is because we set the layer, I can actually drop it right on the objects on the object layer, and it immediately drops to the terrain layer underneath. So there you go. So yeah, try to be careful with new players. We want more people game. It's really what it's all about, is everyone having a good time. And this idea someone's not welcome because they have poor etiquette at a table. Well, we curate that etiquette. We teach people in social behaviors how we expect them to behave in those social encounters. If after repeated conversations and requests of, hey, look, this is for everybody, it's still behaving, well, then you can do next steps and talk about dismissal of their. But take the time to talk to them and let them know. But there we go. Take the time to talk to them and let them know that, hey, we're all here having a good time, and you're kind of taking more time from us, more space. A little communication with people seems to go a long way. I'm going to do this. I'm kind of changing my mind as I do this. There, now we've got a nice, just a little bit of, so it's present. You know what I want to do? Let's see here. There. Go right here, and you're like, Steve, why are you doing those lines in the middle of nowhere? And the reason is I'm going to hop over and we're going to look at some trees. We're going to drop some trees there, and those are going to be the trunk lines from where the tree trunk blocked the sun from melting the snow. That's always fun. Now, I want a tree. Let's see, your tree. That one says charred. Okay, let's see here. Yellow tree, blue tree, red tree, one tree. This one's diseased. This one's diseased. Mossy. Hey, there we go. Mossy. What does it say? Naked. That's what we want. Got a naked brown. We got a naked light. So let's go ahead here. We're going to drop this bad boy right there. We'll do a darker one right here. What else we got here? Let's throw a little diversity of trees here. All right, we'll do this here. What do you guys think? You guys think that's enough? See, now I'm looking at those snow lines here. They just look like penises sticking out of the tree. So over here, back to that snow. Little of the white powder, the nose candy. There we go. Soft brush on it again, and we'll just do one of these. Ah, that's better. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because the branches help creating this shade. Those trees. Now we need a path. So now we need a little bit of a path here. Let's go over. And we could go dirt, but let's go stone. You know, Arkenforge is high fantasy driven. So if the post-apocalypse isn't your thing, they have plenty of stuff. The high fantasy, or anything really. They've got stuff for cyberpunk, and they've got stuff for wilderness. They have all kinds of just really great tools to play with. And so here we go. We're gonna kind of go this way. Up here. Bing. Now, what we need to do is, because we've created this on a two-dimensional kind of surface, want to add steps. And the reason why we want to add steps, I'm looking for very particular type of steps. I'm hoping they have them, is to create the illusion that as the players are going along the train, they're climbing up. And before we go ahead and do that, though, I want to go and I want to make sure that this trail, this mountainous trail that they're going on, we're going to hit the tile. We're going to add some noise. Add some noise! All right, so we're going to add some noise here. What? But we see the path. Break it up a little bit. We're going to go in and steps. Steps. Over. We're going to switch the grid over to square. You know, I've mentioned this before, and a lot of these systems, they're really great, but their base product is in X's, so sometimes it doesn't want to do the, or it is in squares, and so sometimes it doesn't want to do the thing. That's what I want. Look here. Okay. Step. Let's get rid of this randomizer. Select it again. Okay. We got a step here, so this is what we're going to do here. One. I'm going to rotate it up to the path. Here. Control C. Copy it. Control V. Control V. Control collect. Now I've got all of them. These are all sitting on the map layer. And let's see if we can. This is what I want to do here. Select it as a tile. Maybe add lighting, color, blocking, blah, blah, blah. Let's zone in. Let's zoom into this real quick. I want to weather these steps a little bit, and it's on our terrain level layer, right? So here's our steps. Space them out just a little bit. You know, if you ever walked into a California trail, they're kept by scouts and the Department of Forestry. They maintain our trails to make sure that they're safe, and so whenever you go on a hike out in the mountain range in California, you will see steps along these trail lines during steep climbs where someone has cleared out a path and laid either cement. And a lot of this stuff was done back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And so time has weathered them a little bit. So what I want to do is I'm going to select all three of these here. And I'm going to group them together. Group them, and then I want to put them here, move below. I want to put them right under the stone. So the stone kind of comes across them a little. This breaks up those hard lines that make up the image. And let's see here. I'm going to copy it again. I'm going to paste them over here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just want them to look the same. So I'm going to flip it here. There we go. And the same thing, I want to move them, drop them right under here to kind of break up the detail. So hopefully when the players are experiencing the map, but let's do this. We're going to add another series of steps here, assets. It's going to be a different color. I'm going to drop it right there. And this is a wood step, right? So closer to the building, it's old weathered wood. Hit our selection tool. We're going to rotate. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to Control C to copy, and then paste. C to copy and paste. Another one right here. And I'm just going to do this. Again, I want to break up consistencies. We want to, kind of make things different. We've got the rock on top of it, which is really great. Let's go back over to our hex grid. Go. There you go. Let's go ahead and get some of this out of the way here. Let's really zoom in to our map. So we have this little cult hideout that maybe they do rituals here. And you have this path they can walk up to, and trees and rocks, and When dealing with space, I know we talked last time. Uh, uh, um, you put walls and mess with the lighting effects so that you can tuck things out from behind. But maybe it's too sloped. Maybe there's so much slope. That's what makes it a great hideout for the cultists. There's such a slope that the zombies struggle with inclines. They just do not have the motor skills to. They just don't have. They just fall all over themselves. Um, so yeah, we have this really great building here. There's some old world tech. Some greenery is growing out of this grate. So what's underneath it? Is there a space under there? Obviously, there's enough space for water to go down, collect with soil that something can grow out of. Let's just take a look if there's anything underneath. Nope, nothing underneath. There's one last thing that we can do. That's great. If I can. I've never done this before. Live for the very first time, we are going to see about putting. So, see if we can dump some snow on the roof. See what that looks like. Let's see here. Snow White. Soft. Now it says terrain layer. So first I'm just going to go. We're going to test it out back here. Goes to the terrain. Let's see. We'll go to object layer. We'll switch this over to object layer. Okay, we're on object layer now. Let's see if make the brush a little bit smaller. Definitely a soft brush. Definitely want a soft brush. Can I make? Let's make it a little opaque. A little bit more. We don't want it to. I can make it even more opaque. We'll go over to selection here. And opacacy. Maybe. It's definitely something I want to play with more in the future. Definitely want to try some more of that. That's just fun. Well, that was a blast. I had a great time. Thank you guys for joining me building this little cult hideout and talking about Morticians. Again, if you haven't had a chance to play the game, you can go swing over by Drivethru-RPG and check out Morticians, Crossroads, the Introductory Undertaking, and pick up the starting rule book and maps. If you're interested to take a look at it before you actually buy it, I definitely recommend swinging by our YouTube channel, Morticians RPG, and watching players play the game. There's some old footage from the beta testing days with the Wolf Pack with me and 4 of my friends. There's footage from Ladies of the Hoard, and there is new footage coming out weekly of the Zombie Trail. So you get to see the game in action from different viewpoints with different players. I think the total is we got 4, 8, yeah, 12 different players, not including myself. So swing on by our YouTube channel and check it out. If you end up getting deep with Ladies of the Hoard and really enjoy it, we do have a Patreon where we do postmortems. After the game, we talk about what the players liked, what I stole from my nephew, comments, concerns, emotional outbreaks, and what the highlight of each episode for the players, along with discussions about opportunities for current events going on at Dragon's Hoard store right here in Fresno, California, our local game shop that everybody loves. So you can always swing by the Dragon's Hoard and ask questions. We did get the proof. It's a proof, not a prototype, from the manufacturer just yesterday. We went through. It looks great. It looks fantastic, but there were 1 or 2 issues, and it's not really the manufacturer's fault so much. It was a communication fault in how we were articulating what our needs were, and so they took some small things, easy to fix, in a certain direction, and we're going to kick that information back to them so that they can get started to produce it as fast as possible, and we can get them to you, our backers, our fans, our friends. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I look forward to paying attention to what I'm doing, because what am I doing right now? I look forward to talking to you guys again. I will see you guys next week. This is your Reaper, Steve. Peace.